all the way from Mexico to the Napua Beach Club, Mauna, the Big Island. Kehlani talks Mezcal, his favorite, and Tequila.
Definitely. Me personally, I drink Mezcal. Like, I love Mezcal. Mezcal can be made of any of the species of agave. When they are cooking it in the ovens under the ground, similar to like an emu where we do Kalua pig in Hawaii, they do like the agaves under the ground, and they cook them in an oven, like an underground oven, you know, and then that's what gives it that smoky flavor profile. Then they take it out and distill it, you know. So it can have all kinds of different flavor profiles, because sometimes during that smoking process, the guys who are gonna distill it, they'll go out, they'll catch a veal, they kill it, hang it up over the oven so the drippings come down, and then when you distill it, you take out everything, you know, but it still has that flavor profile.
Fermented agave, or pulque, has been consumed by the Aztecs in the central east lands of modern Mexico for thousands of years, when the ancient goddess of maguey gave birth to 400 intoxicated rabbits. This drink of the gods was enjoyed by the kings and nobles to celebrate all special occasions, most notably human sacrifices. The Spaniards called maguey agave, which is Greek for nobility. There are roughly 250 species of agave plants, about 50 of which that can be used for distillation. There is not an official count due to the dozens of indigenous languages and the fact that many plants are various degrees of hybrids. Today there are still plenty of wild agaves out there, but it is much more common to drink mezcal made from a cultivated or semi-cultivated crop. The majority of agave grows in Mexico, and especially the valleys of the southern state of Oaxaca. Agaves are hands down considered the most complex plant to be turned into alcohol. They take anywhere from 8 to 40 years to mature, and most have 3 individual methods of reproduction. The process of making mezcal is what is far and beyond the most fascinating and unique aspect to this spirit. Traditional mezcal is made entirely by hand and is available only for the local community. Artisanal mezcal is sold to the greater public, and sometimes a grinder is used. And then there's industrial mezcal, which substitutes a pressurized oven for an earth oven, a chemical engineer for a mezcalero, and runs a continuous distillation. The process starts with the harvest and cutting of the plant, which is unimaginably labor intensive. The 50 to 100 pound pinas of the agaves are then placed into an earth oven and backfilled, where they will roast on stones for up to 3 days and absorb all that smoky flavor. The cooked agaves are then selectively chopped up by the mezcalero, followed by crushing, either by a several-ton stone wheel called a tojona, or by hand, or by a mill. The crushed agave is placed in a fermentation vat, either wood, clay, or even cowhide, where 1 part water is added. After several days of all-natural fermentation, the mash is put into the still for distillation. Different apparatuses can be used here, like a modern copper still, traditional clay pots, or a 1.5 still. These are just the high-level basics of the production process, and there are literally hundreds of variables that affect the final taste of each and every batch. These key variables are just the tip of the iceberg. Author Tom Bullock points out, on average, a Silvestre takes 15 years to mature. If a batch calls for 150 of them, that's more than 2,000 years of growth in the oven. Mezcal can come in various forms. It can be derived from a single agave species or mixing 2 or more together in what's called an ensemble. Tequila is technically a type of mezcal and comes from agave azul. The major difference is the common use of a pressurized oven and the region it comes from. They can be aged for over a year or less than a year, but traditionally they are not aged at all to preserve their full character. Most artisanal mezcals usually come in around 40 to 50% alcohol per volume, but technically mezcal can go as low as 30%, though this is usually reserved for the more sensitive international market and cocktails. Although the mezcal cocktail culture is booming, traditionally this high-quality, character-rich spirit is encouraged to be sipped kiss by kiss.
And then like even other good brands, El Tesoro, which is another, that is one of the only distilleries that uses a Tahona, hence the Tahona on the cork. So you see the label on this guy has a Tahona
it
on
has a
it,
Tahona.
and this is the Tahona. This is a Reposado. This is an aged
Could we
version of the tequila.
Put that aside and look at that in the
So you'll
glass.
see the color difference.
So the color comes from the oak that it is rested in.
Oh.
Typically, it can be.
Oak, so it has to be like a French oak.
Yeah, exactly. So like old American oak, French oak.
So,
Sometimes
and
they
the
do-
American has vanilla.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes they do different types of.
It's softer.
Cross-promotions.
So it's been tamed a little bit.
Yeah,
Instead
exactly.
of Sophie Loren, we got a little Brigitte Bardot.
Yeah, you're resting on the. You're
Let me
resting
see what this is like.
the spirit on the oak, so it kind of takes on that characteristic.
You guys
of
see the
oak.
color difference there? There's a slight golden hue.
Definitely. I mean, they go extra añejo, they go 5-year extra.
What does
extra
reposado
añejos.
mean?
Reposado just means rested.
Oh, how silly. Now I don't see a signature in the back here. Oh,
So
yeah,
this
I
is
do.
made by Don Carlos Camarena, who is like one of the most elite.
Legends.
Yeah, exactly.
Per bottle, is this $100?
I mean, this one is probably in that range, essentially.
It's insane. I love
Could
it.
be in the $80 to $100 range.
Perfect. What an amazing. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Now you're introducing us to something special.
Los Abuelos.
So
exactly.
my guests can
Fortaleza.
see the label. You're going to explain to us why this is still have integrity.
So this is one of the last tequilas that is actually produced in a very traditional way. It's one of the only, I believe, 6 distilleries that still use a Tahona drawn by a horse, as opposed to like steam diffusers and things of that nature. And this is made by Don Souza's great-grandson, essentially. Souza is the guy who invented tequila. And the way you can tell that the tequila is pure is it says it's pure agave, and then the lot number is also listed on the back
I
of
see
the
it.
bottle. You see, you can usually find everything you need to know about the tequila on the bottle if it is really an actual tequila. You know?
Joe, what did you think of the taste?
It was much better than the other two. I mean, it's amazing, and I learned
it's
more about
completely
tequila in the
different.
last.
So how
5
do you
minutes.
serve this? Is this a tequila glass?
Yeah, so this is, I mean, typically it would come without the stem and just be the base right on the bottom here. And I forget what the name technically of the glass they use is
I
called,
can't remember.
but
We're both sommeliers. We can't remember.
essentially, you never want to swirl your tequila the same way you do with wine. You want to tilt the glass and just spin it so that it lightly glazes over the glass, and then that's how you.
How
can
does that
smell the
enhance
notes
it?
and everything.
How does that enhance
I
it?
mean, tequila is a spirit that you don't want to over oxidize, nor do you really want to chill it. Like if you put your bottle of tequila in the freezer, yeah, you might enjoy it more, but you'll lose all the characteristics of what. they're
And
actually
definitely, this is
trying-
not for mixing.
Yeah, no. I mean, one thing that I always refer back to is Lucas Assis, one of my bartending mentors. He says, "Great spirits make great cocktails." So, depending how great you want your cocktail to be, you can put a good spirit in there, you know? So something that people in America, that we around the world know is something that you take shots of, but in reality, you don't shoot tequila, you kiss it, you know?
Honey, getting drunk is not that fun, right? Thank you, sweetheart.